friends, and welcome to episode 123 of Did You Bring the Hummus podcast. I'm Kimberly, your host, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. Did You Bring the Hummus is a podcast for all things vegan. Episodes post every Monday on your favorite podcast app. Before we get started, I have one very important question for you. Did you bring the hummus? Visit my website to learn more about how to support the podcast, sign up for a meditation session, and everything else I'm up to. I have joined forces with Jennifer Shlomovich of The Confident Vegan to bring you the next great thing in morning TV, That Vegan Morning Show, which airs on YouTube every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Join our mailing list and get a free recipe ebook of some of our favorites. Today, I am joined by Chef Tara Punzone and writer Jean Stone. Tara is the founder of the award-winning Pura Vita restaurants in Los Angeles. Pura Vita is the first 100% plant-based Italian restaurant and wine bar in the USA. A trailblazer in vegan Italian cuisine, Tara has been featured in Bon Appétit, Eater, and the Los Angeles Times. Chef Tara grew up in an Italian-American home in New York and has thrived on a vegan diet for over 35 years. Her passion for healthy Southern Italian food has been evolving since her childhood when she made the decision to adopt a vegan lifestyle. It was then Tara began converting all of her family's traditional dishes to vegan versions of the same without compromise. Vegana Italiana is her first book. Jean Stone is a graduate of Stanford and Harvard. Jean is a former Peace Corps volunteer and newspaper editor for such companies as the Los Angeles Times, Esquire, and Simon Schuster. He has written more than a dozen books under his own name on a wide variety of subjects, and also has ghostwritten or co-written another 35 books for a very diverse lot of people, many of which have been national bestsellers. However, for the past 15 years, he has concentrated mainly on writing or ghostwriting books about plant-based diets and their relationship to animal protection, health, and the environment. Among these books are such titles as Forks Over Knives, 72 Reasons to Be Vegan, How Not to Die, Living the Farm Sanctuary Life, Eat for the Planet, The Engine 2 Diet, and Animalkind. These two are huge fans of each other, and they were so much fun to chat with. Hey, Tara. Hi, Jean. Thank you both so much for being with me tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, great to be here.
Awesome. So we'll start, as we always do here at Did You Bring the Hummus, with sharing your vegan journey. Tara, how about you go first?
Sure. Well, I write about my vegan journey in Vegana Italiana. Basically was and still am a huge animal lover. But of course, as a young child, did not make a connection to how food, gets on your plate and the process of all the big, long story that goes, through that whole process. And then when I was in the 5th grade, I had a teacher who showed the class a video of a slaughterhouse and forced me to make a horrible connection, changed my life completely for the better, because obviously this was something that is extremely important to me. And I went home, talked to my parents, told them that I didn't want to have anything to do with this process, and that I wasn't going to eat meat anymore. And one of the things, not to be redundant, one of the things that happened from that reveal was that my mom decided to take me to this place called Angelica's Kitchen in New York, which was one of the older vegan restaurants in New York City back then. And we made it our little thing. So we went once a week, and that was our thing. In the front of that restaurant, there was a lot of pamphlets and information available. And so I read every single thing that was there and just educated myself on the other part of the animals that are not meat: eggs, dairy, also leather, and etc. And so it took me a few years, but that's how I got to the place where I was completely vegan and gave away my leather motorcycle jacket and Doc Martens, and that was the end of that.
I noticed in the book that you do tell this story, and you include a little note from your dad who at first wanted to be like, "Are you nuts?" but then was like, If this is important to you, it's important to me. And oh my goodness, how lucky were you to
Oh
have
my God.
someone in your life, because you were young, right? I think you were 12 when
I
you
was
made
10 when
this.
I had that
10.
conversation with them.
Yeah,
I
wow. And
hadn't
so
quite figured it all out yet, but I had to. Yeah, I am really lucky and also very grateful that I have parents who were always willing to listen to me, to hear me, and to support me, uh, even when they thought, it was like, what the hell are you talking about? That's,
right.
you know, but also, okay, like if that's important to you, let's talk about it more and figure it out.
Hmm.
So I'm sure they also thought it was going to be a phase and disappear within a few weeks because of my age, but
Hmm.
it did not.
Yeah, no. And I noticed another thing that he said was that you need to make sure you learn how to cook. And he's so proud that you did do that. And you do it so
Yes.
well and so
Yes.
beautifully. My parents, I was a
Thank
bit
you.
older. I went vegetarian first. I was 20, but I was still living at home with my parents. And I didn't like vegetables. I had no idea how to cook. And anytime there was like extra vegetables left over, my brother was like, I'll have them. And I'd be like, please do. Uh, and so when I was like, hey, I read this thing I got in the mail and I'm vegetarian now, my parents were like, okay. And they were supportive. They're like, whatever you want to do, you're going to have to learn how to cook, but okay. And they too thought, like, in the back of their minds, they were like, we'll see. She's not going to stick with this. She doesn't like any of these things and she can't cook.
Right.
But thankfully, they were wrong too. So, Jean, how about you?
A very, very different story. I've been a writer for many years. I did a lot of ghostwriting, and one day I got a call from one of my agents saying, "Would you like to meet this guy who was a firefighter in Texas?" And what's his story? It turns out he'd gotten his whole firehouse to go vegan, and so I agreed to meet on the phone with a guy. His name was Rip Esselstyn, and Rip and I bonded in about 3 seconds. And to write his book, which was eventually called The Engine 2 Diet, I figured, well, if I'm going to write a book about this vegan thing, I might as well try it. So a week later, I said to Rip, I'll do it. And then I had Rip as a coach, which is about the best thing you can possibly have, since he is the most amazing, enthusiastic puppy dog out there. And then it took, and I decided that I started seeing all these, videos of the slaughterhouses like Tara had seen when she was so young. And I decided I would expiate all my guilt for all the animals that I've eaten by spending the rest of my writing career writing books about plant-based diets and their relationship to health, animal protection, and the environment.
That's amazing.
So amazing.
Right.
You just never know, you get a phone call and, oh, that's going to completely change my life.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Like the thing that was mailed to me was an issue of PETA's Animal Times. And for the life of me, I have tried to go back to that moment and think about, did I fill something out? Was I somewhere that had like how did they get my address? It was addressed to me, but it was just meant to be. It sent me off on my journey, and it changed my life. And yeah, you never know.
You never know.
It's amazing. So tell me about the book, Vegana Italiana. How did it come to be? How did you two come together? And tell me about the process of pulling it all together.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you how it started, and then Jean can tell you the funny anecdotes of how it continued. Basically, I always had it in my head that I wanted to write a book, just like I always had it in my head that I wanted to have a restaurant, but these are just pipe dreams that we think about and put them aside for some grandiose day. Well, it turns out I really did open a restaurant. Before opening a restaurant, why would I write a book? Who the hell was I? Nobody's ever heard of me. Why would anyone buy a book that I wrote? So to me, I didn't even, give it any real thought. But the moment I opened the restaurant and we were successful, every single guest that came through the door asked me if I had a book. And I did not have a book. So there was this constant interest in whether or not I had a book. And so it came to the forefront of, of my mind. But now I'm running a restaurant and I had like very little time to do anything. So it took many, many years to get to a place where I felt comfortable enough to make the time to write a book, which is not an easy thing to do when you're running multiple restaurants. And I had a connection with Miyoko, whose book publisher was very kind enough to send me a list of potential authors that could help me, because I knew that there was no way I could do this on my own. And Jean was on the list. And so I reached out, cold call. I had read his books before, but we had never met, and I didn't think he was even going to know who I was. But I was wrong.
So what happened then is she writes me this note. I just had this book called 72 Reasons to Be Vegan come out, and I was going to take a break from writing for a bit. And then I get this note from this woman who runs a restaurant that happens to be 3 blocks from where I live. And I've been eating there already and already loved it. So I'm thinking, well, this is really interesting, except as you may know, being a chef is a very difficult thing, but being a woman chef, I mean, it is not a woman's business. It's a tough thing. And so here's this woman chef. She's from Brooklyn. She's Italian. She's going to be awful, because, and I thought, well, I'll go meet her anyway, because why not? Because you should always meet people. And if she's awful, I'll just have some of her food and I'll feel better. So I go to the restaurant, which I said just takes a 5-minute walk. And I show up there, and here's this woman. We meet, we sit down, and about 5 minutes into the conversation, I'm thinking, this is the nicest person I've ever met in my life. I don't just want to write a book with her. I want to spend the rest of my life doing anything I can for her. So we pretty much decided, yeah, we're going to work together.
Honestly, I just love hearing him tell that story. I could hear it over and over again.
I bet.
I feel like Bugs Bunny when you're telling that story, Jean. Like, tell me more about my eyes.
Well, it's all true.
It is quite nice. It's a great story. And, I must say because I'm over in New Jersey, so I'm nowhere near LA, sadly, but maybe one day I hope to be there and stop by your restaurant. But when I first got the PDF of your book, and I saw your photos, I was like, this is the coolest lady I've ever seen, and I can't wait to meet her. And it just, there's a presence about you, and it comes through in the photos in the book, and you're so cool and so nice, and this is just wonderful. And I'm so glad all these good things are happening for you.
Thank you so much. This is very sweet. So what about the recipes within Vegana Italiana? I love that there's little stories with some of them, and are these all kind of inspired from your life and like the way that maybe veganizing how your parents and your grandparents maybe cooked, or have you kind of pulled just concepts from Italian cooking and created like a whole new thing? No, I mean, mostly everything in the book is stuff that I grew up eating, whether it had been my grandparents or my parents. There was just food was the main focus growing up. So, my grandparents were from Southern Italy, where the best food in the world is made, quite frankly, in my opinion. But I got really spoiled. I got to eat a lot of really great food. And then when I became vegan, I was a bit nervous because I didn't want to give up those dishes and those traditions and my heritage. I wanted to hold on to everything. So yeah, I started cooking in the kitchen with my family, and that's really how I learned how to cook. And the book, the way that I chose what to include in the book is that, obviously some of the most popular dishes in the restaurant, they're all in there. But I left out the things that have super expensive ingredients or things that are very difficult to get your hands on, because the idea is I really want this to be accessible to people. I want this to be simple and comforting for people to easily find the ingredients, easily be able to follow a recipe, cook for their family without having it to be like a big, complicated and intimidating situation, you know? So I didn't put anything like, for example, there's no truffle in there or anything that's like fancy. Just the real simple dishes that are made from, you know, flour, legumes, vegetables, nuts, things that you can get anywhere. But the thing is that like, there's so many people who don't have the opportunity, like yourself, like you just said, to come to LA. And I'm so lucky I get to share all of this with the community in Los Angeles, but I want to share it with more than just the community of Los Angeles. So so that's the idea. And I just hope that whether or not people are vegan really doesn't matter. It's just really good Southern style Italian food that happens to be vegan and good for your family, and your kids will love it because kids love Italian food. And I just want people to, you know, to give it a try and not be intimidated.
You know, it's true about the food being just not vegan necessarily. It's just really good food. A lot of us will take friends to Pura Vita and not tell them that it is all vegan, and they don't need to know because it's just so good. There's no reason to say anything other than it's just really good Italian food.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal.
Yeah. Exactly. Like we all eat, and eating has so much more than just the idea of nourishing our bodies. We nourish our souls and each other by spending that time together eating. And if we can eat food that feels familiar to everyone, whether they've made the same choices the three of us have, or they haven't made it to our side yet, to be able to sit down and have your plates all look the same, or, you know, it brings us together in such a way. And to know that we're doing that while not contributing to all the harm and the sadness and the awfulness that's out there is really, really so meaningful. What a nice little thing.
The nice side effect of being vegan, I mean, for so many years, I obviously became vegan because I loved animals, and only for that reason, because who the hell is thinking about their health when they're, you know, 10, 12 years old? Nobody, you know, or the environment. I mean, not for nothing, but I was not thinking about the environment when I was 12. And it just turns out to be such a wonderful side effect of a decision made that I feel like, you know, I hope more people can find interest in making that decision too. But even if you don't have any interest in making that decision, you can still enjoy these recipes because they're not overwhelmingly vegan.
Right.
They're just good Italian food.
Yeah. So Jean, as the not chef and the writer of with the book, how do you start to bring together Tara's stories and her recipes and make it all flow?
Good question. You know, I work with lots of different people, and everybody's different. One of the things about Tara is that she has so many stories. Normally what I'm doing is trying to get people to dig deep and find a story. But Tara is kind of like the opposite. She can have like, oh, I have 5 stories about that. Oh, you want a story about spaghetti pomodoro? I can tell you 10 stories about that. It really wasn't that. The problem with Tara is editing rather than creating. And I wouldn't say problem, because believe me, I would much rather be in that situation than in the other situation. Often we're just trying so hard to get the person to talk. And Tara is a lovely talker.
I love to talk about positive things, and food and family are very positive things. Yeah. And I'm lucky enough to have had a really great experience with both. So why not share?
Right. And once she really realized what the book was going to be like and the way the stories would intersect with the recipes, we just had a really fun time, I think, coming up with the right story for the right recipe. Does this go with this? Does this go with that? And then there were some stories that were just so good. If you notice, they're just in the book because they're good stories. They have nothing to do with it.
Well, one that stood out to me, it's got its own full page, and it's about how you wound up on this restaurant adventure. I too I was a lifelong, my dad, so ashamed of himself now, and thinking back, I've been listening to Howard Stern since I was a child, like my dad driving me to school and we're laughing. And anytime my mom was in the car too, she was like, the kids shouldn't be listening to this. And like my brother and I are just laughing it up and having a good time. And that carried with me for so long. And to see like kind of his journey, and he and Beth, from what we can tell, have not gone vegan, but they make those choices more often than not. And then to have this, like, this person that is in your life every morning, right, make this comment, and you show up there. So tell a little bit of the story, so I don't ruin it. You tell the story of how this all came to be with the restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I listen to Howard every single day since I'm a little kid, and it does kind of feel like him, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's like he's like your uncle or something.
Yeah.
And he was talking one day about this restaurant in New York City that he went to, and he was not vegan or anything like that, but he went to this restaurant, and he was explaining in detail the experience that he had from the moment he walked in the door, and he just made it sound like so incredible. And I couldn't believe I had never been there before, because I am vegan and I do live in New York City. So I'm like embarrassed that I haven't been to this place. It was a bit fancy, so that explained immediately why I had not gone. But it was also a raw restaurant, which is like not something that I had completely, I hadn't gone into that world really so much. And anyway, he just talked about the food, the service, the owner. He was just really like going into it for quite an extensive period of time. And my friend and I talked about it later on, and we were like, well, we need to go. Obviously, Howard told us that we have to go, so we have to go. And then we were sitting at the bar. It was super crowded. And I started talking to the manager, and I just thought, let me ask this guy, like, what credentials do you need to work in a kitchen like this? Because I had never gone to culinary school. So I wasn't sure, how it would work. And he said, honestly, I really don't know. Let me bring you into the back to meet the chef. Mm. And so he brings me into the kitchen to meet Chef Neil Harden, who quite literally changed my whole entire life, because he saw something in me that, immediately. And he hired me right away, and we started working together. And he basically told me, I was thinking about going to culinary school, and he said, no, don't do that. You already know how to cook. You could teach those classes. Mm. All you need to learn is how to manage a kitchen, how to run a commercial kitchen. And he took all his time and trained me on how to do that. So yeah, but I mean, basically just listening to Howard and going to this restaurant, I was in a situation where I was doing work that I really was not satisfied with at all. I was a photographer. I had gone to school for 8 years. I got my master's degree. I was working in photography, but you can't really survive off of art shows and these types of, fabulous moments where you sell a photo, but great, you can't pay your rent that way. So I was shooting weddings and stuff. Anyway, this totally changed my life. I started from scratch all over again from the bottom, learned a whole new world, and it was the world that I was meant to be in all along. So thank you to Howard for that.
Yeah. What was the moment where you were like, okay, I need my own place?
Well, I mean, I said that when I was 12.
Well, how did you know?
Of course, I want my own restaurant. I'm vegan now, Dad. I need to have my own restaurant. And he was like, no, you're not doing that. So I guess I always had it in the back of my head that that's what I would, do one day. But it's like a dream, it's not something that you ever really think is going to be a reality. So when I moved to LA and I realized trying to open a restaurant in Brooklyn before I came to LA, I had all the plans, the city approved them and proceeded to tell us it would take 4 to 6 years.
Whoa.
Because of a subway situation. And so I thought, well, I'm going to move to LA and then I'll come back. But I obviously did not go back. I was working for a restaurant here in LA that had several locations, and I was learning a lot about how to run a business. And that was extremely helpful for me because, it's one thing to be able to cook. It's another thing to be able to manage a one kitchen with one group of staff. It's another thing to learn how to run a business. And that was very, very important for me. A very good lesson for me to learn. It was a wonderful place to work, but the original owner sold it to new people who were not wonderful people. Mm. And that was the moment I realized, this is perfect. It's my time.
Yeah.
It's my time, and it has to be now.
And so you did it.
And I did. Yeah.
How long did it take for you to open Pura Vita?
Well, I looked around at a bunch of lots of locations. And once I found the one that I knew was my place, once you make the agreement in the city of West Hollywood, the way the logistics are, you have 90 days. So I had 90 days.
Yeah, it was better than 4 to 6 years.
Yeah, if you want to hold on to all the licenses and all the things that come along with, the purchase of a business, mm-hmm. You have 90 days to reopen it. So nothing like a little pressure.
Just a little bit.
But that's good. Pressure is good. It makes you do things. So yeah.
And you're used to that in a kitchen.
Totally. Yeah. Right? I work better under pressure, I think. Don't give me that much time, because then I'll just waste it and wait until the last minute anyway. So.
You'll be under pressure anyway. Aside from Jean, of course, who are some of the most fun guests you've had come into the restaurant?
Ooh, that's a really good question. So many cool people. Let's see. I mean, celebrities, Joaquin Phoenix and Rooney Mara, Orlando Bloom, lots of musicians, tons of musicians that I could just name a whole long list of. But lots of musicians of people that I grew up that I'm really into music, particularly like metal and punk. And so Derek Green comes in, he's the singer of Sepultura, and my brain just went everywhere. Now he's my friend, and it's so casual and normal, And then Woody Harrelson, who I used to serve in the restaurant in New York that I started working at through Howard. He came in right in the beginning when we first opened, and now he owns a place right across the street. So I'm lucky enough to just have him as a neighbor and supporter.
Yeah.
But sometimes even just the guests who are just regular guests, when you talk to people, you hear their stories, and sometimes they're more inspirational and leave a bigger impression than somebody whose name I can mention that you would know. Sometimes it's the little guys that are the most important and the most fun to talk to.
And they probably come in more frequently because they're around more often. Traveling.
Yeah, we have a lot of very regulars.
Yeah.
It's very community based, and most of them are not vegan, which is, really makes me feel like I've accomplished something that was part of my goal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I feel that way about the podcast too, when I find out that someone who listens isn't vegan and they tune in, and hopefully they're, they're learning, and maybe one day will change their mind. But yeah, for them to say oh, I'm not vegan, but I love your show. All we talk about is veganism on this show. And it's not just plant-based food and change your diet. It's the whole life and social justice and all of it. And they tune in and they love it. So it's good when we're reaching those people that otherwise in different scenarios might just shut down and walk away or not be interested, to feed them and nourish them with food or with good conversation is, it's really amazing. And so, Jean, you're doing that same thing every time you help someone write a book.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I will say that once Rip got me going, I decided I would only do vegan books. But I've noticed that sometimes when I give lectures or talks, that a lot of the people who I address are not vegan. They're vegan curious, they're vegan friendly, they have a sister who's vegan. So the idea is through books, through restaurants, through anything you can possibly think of, is not to be judgmental and not to blame someone for not getting there yet. As you alluded to before, it's like our side, it's got to be friendly to everybody because that's how we get people to join us. And even if they just join 80%, 90%, or 50%, it's a victory.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. We are when we are honest, right? So we're all sharing our honesty and authenticity and how we feel through food, writing, conversations. Even when we're sharing hard stuff, it's received differently, you know? And I think you can have a more meaningful conversation and touch someone in a different way when it's a bit more relaxed and they don't feel like you're coming at them, or they're listening to a conversation, they're having amazing food, reading a nice book. And yeah, it really is meaningful. And one of the things I love about all the different guests that I have on the podcast is that we're showing people, one, that we're all just people and we're all doing jobs and things and just in the world like they are. And it kind of, I think, evens the playing field and makes them feel less judged or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a favorite recipe in the book, Tara?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't like Sophie's Choice.
Okay. Let's
I have one I can say I think is the most underrated.
Okay.
It is not on my menu at the restaurant because it's large and kind of awkward for a restaurant to serve, but it is very easy to make. Although the instructions seem lengthy, I encourage everyone to get through it because it's simple, really. And it's so delicious, and it'll make your house smell so good. You'll want to make it again and again. And that's the stuffed artichoke.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is incredible.
Yeah. Have you made any of the recipes from the book, Jean? Are you a cook?
I am not really a cook, so I try. There are a few things I've tried to work on. The crostinis, for instance, some of the appetizers. But I'm a little spoiled because if I want to have Tara's food, just walk 3 blocks and I have it.
I would do the same thing.
Yes, it's definitely much easier.
Is there a tiramisu recipe in the book? The listeners want to know.
There sure is.
Excellent.
And that is one of my favorites. I don't like to choose favorites, but if I had to, gun to my head, that would be in the top 3.
Awesome. That'll be the first recipe I make out of this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll make it many more times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make sure to use real espresso. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So many places, sometimes you go to a restaurant and you order a tiramisu and I'm like, is there even any coffee in this?
Right.
I don't, it's kind of like the whole point of the dessert.
Yeah. Do you have anything else going on? Not anything else, like this book isn't huge, but like, are you touring? I'm sorry. Are you like doing a book tour? Are you going to have like a special thing at the restaurant?
Yeah, so I'm going to have a special dinner, a book author dinner at the restaurant October 15th, featuring some of the recipes that are in the book that are not normally already on the menu, because a lot of the things are already being served. So I try to make it a little bit, different from what we're normally doing. And that's going to be a really fun event. And there's the one book included in the ticket price. So that's going to be really fun. And then I'm going to be going around to a few different cities: Portland, Chicago, Miami, New York, the bigger cities. And I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
And I really hope that that it's well received. It's like I have no idea what to expect, you know. I mean, New York, I'm not worried about because that's my hometown, so they'll show up for me. But you know, it's nerve-wracking going to new places and you know, wondering, is anyone listening?
Right, I bet. But they will be. They'll
I
be
hope
showing
so.
up for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I
When
think
will
I
you
think
be
it'll
in
be
New
really cool.
York? Like I'll share your whole tour schedule in the show notes, but because I'm in New Jersey, I'm specifically asking about New York.
Yeah, I'll be in New York on December 8th. It's a
Nice.
Monday in Brooklyn.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should come.
I think I will. That is enough notice. I can get out there for sure. Jean, what about you? Do you get to tour for this book too?
I will not be going to Portland, Chicago, New York, Miami, but I will be doing some events with Tara locally in Los Angeles. We're doing the signing. We have a party coming up. So yeah,
Yes.
my idea is to do whatever I can, but you know, Tara's the star.
Of course.
We have several parties coming up.
Yes.
There's so many parties. There's so many parties to be had.
Sounds great to write a book.
And we have two book signings, one at Book Soup and one at Barnes and Noble at the Grove.
Yeah, I'm very excited for both of them. I think they're going to be drastically different and
Yes. Well, they're very different audiences.
Yeah.
Book Soup is in West Hollywood. It's more of a, I don't know, get in trouble, but it's a little hipper, a little cooler maybe, and the Grove is more the Grove.
Yeah.
I don't know what any of that means, but I believe you.
People in LA will know, but nobody else will.
That's right. It's a very local reference. I love it.
Yeah. Well, they asked me to choose what I wanted my home bookstore to be, and I thought, well, it has to be an independent bookstore because it's hard out there for these, you know, for us as an independent restaurant, for stores that are still trying to make it. I mean, bookstores are just, they're not even easy to find anymore. So,
Right.
But we do love Barnes and Noble.
well, we love Barnes and Noble, of course.
course.
They're like one of the only places that are still making it happen.
Right.
But Book Soup is a very small little place in West Hollywood. And it's just kind of independent and cool. And
I've been there for a long time, and
yeah,
and it's one of those stores. It's like an old-fashioned bookstore. You walk in, you spend an hour looking at books, and you may not even buy a book. You just have a really good time.
yeah. And it smells really good.
I was going to say, I love the smell of those places.
Yeah. Me too.
The town I grew up in had an old library in an old house. And the smell of that place between the pages of the books and just being a house that's like hundreds of years, like 150 years old, is like, I can still smell it just thinking about it right now. It was like one of my favorite things in the whole world.
Where in Jersey are you from?
I'm in like I live right now in Northwest New Jersey, but I grew up in Boonton, which is like Morris County. If you know anything about New Jersey, kind of right in the middle up at the top.
You spent a lot of time in Pompton Plains.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right. So if you had any New Jersey references, those I would get.
Right.
I don't think I have any Jersey references in there.
No, it probably didn't come over the bridge very often, right?
Well, we went to like Wildwood, and then later on, like when I was touring with my ex-boyfriend, they would always play Asbury Park before it was fancied up. Now I hear it's very fancy and cool, but it was not for a very long time. It was grungy and dodgy and punk rock.
Yeah.
But nothing that really made any sense to, you know, relevant to being vegan or cooking. So
right. It's better now though.
Music and fun.
Yeah. We're a lot more vegan friendly in New Jersey now, which is really nice. Like, there's a group that has like Veg Fests. They do 2 big ones every year, and there's tons of vegan restaurants popping up, and of course many closing. But then they keep popping up new ones, so it's
Nice.
It's good to see. Yeah.
Yeah, we need more.
Yeah, we need to show up.
We need them to stop closing.
Right. Yeah.
It's terrible. It's like, and it's like, I couldn't be more grateful that we're still around. We've been through really, really difficult times, and in the whole country, but particularly LA. It's like the city that's like either literally or figuratively on fire. So it's just always something. It makes it very difficult. So I'm very happy that we're still going.
It's a special place, right? There's something very unique about it. Not, even not having been there, just having flipped through your book, just talking with you here today, like there's definitely a vibe about it. And I'm sure that people love it. And like, they know they're going to LA, so they're going to try it, like it's like a destination people go to, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. And there is definitely an energy, especially like when you're sitting at the bar. Everybody's talking to everybody, and it does feel very comfortable and very like East Coasty. The pretentiousness that may or may not be relevant in LA sort of just goes away when you come inside the restaurant, and everyone just chills out and is cool with each other, and everybody is welcome. And I think you can really feel that. So it's not just about great food. It's also about, being comforted through your community.
Yeah. That comes through in the stories in the beginning. You should have pictures of your family, and you can tell they're from like the 1970s and 80s, these pictures, and it's just it feels almost like you've invited us in to be part of your family and really get to know you, and where all of this, the book, the restaurant, where you've come from. And Jean, you really, you captured that and really are bringing out, Tara in all of her glory.
Yeah. Wasn't really that hard.
Honestly,
so
though,
glory.
Without Jean, I would never have had the ability to focus and see this through to the end. So this really is a testament to how wonderful a writer and partner he has been to work with. And I couldn't have done it otherwise. There's no way. He was like a gentle fire under my ass.
I prefer to think of this as a team.
Yeah, but I had those moments where I drift off into restaurant world.
Yeah, I know.
And it's very hard to pull me out of that world, because that is my whole life, and I've learned I'm not very good at sitting down at a computer and focusing on one thing. So it's really important to always have somebody, no matter what you're doing in life. In the restaurant, I have those people as well, like somebody that just keeps you focused on what's important and can let you ignore the things that are just static and taking up your time and energy that aren't worthy of. So it's good to have those people around. So
well, I will say that I've written many, many books for many people, and this is one of the very few times where I don't ever remember a single argument. I love Rip Esselstyn, like my brother, but we would fight about this or fight about that. We didn't speak to each other for a week. Yeah, I don't think we ever even had a bad word or mood.
Yeah,
it was nice.
I'm not a fighter.
Neither am I really.
And if I don't already like you, I'm not going to work with you. So
it's a good practice to have.
Yeah, I think like had I met you and had any doubts, or if there was any red flags, I would have just been like, yeah, no,
Right. You had a whole list. You could have just chosen someone else, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I know my people when I find them.
Jean, is that how do you manage that piece? Like, you need to get these stories, this information from your author, and like, how do you kind of keep people going when they are drifting off in a restaurant world, or how do you pull them back to what you need?
Yeah, it's obviously extremely different for everybody. There are people who are actually opposite. They're hyper focused, and you can't get them to stop. And then there are the people who you can't focus at all. Tara's right in the middle. Each time you just have to play it the way you think is best. I'm very fortunate enough to be at a point in my career where I can pick the people I want to work with, and if I've certainly met people who probably had great books and did actually come out with bestsellers, but I was not the right person to write that book. So you just have to go a lot on instinct. And this is somebody because you can work with, because you really do get you end up very enmeshed in that person's life, and you want that life to be one you like.
Yes. Truth.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. This conversation has been really wonderful. I'm really enjoying my time with you both, but I want to spend a little time talking about something super special to me and maybe to you guys too. Tara, how does hummus show up in your life?
Oh, hummus. How I love thee. Well, as a very early on vegan, early 90s, there was not a lot of vegan friendly foods out in the world. And anytime I was not at my own house with my own family who I knew and trusted were making me food that I, wanted to be eating, I had to figure out what to eat. And there was always hummus. Hummus is always vegan, and you can always find it. It's like such a staple, it's like if you have to love hummus if you're vegan, you have to.
Agreed.
There's been days in my childhood where all I ate was hummus. Right. Hummus and Triscuits, whatever you can find, you
can dip it.
Exactly. You can make wraps with it. You can put it on top of stuff. It doesn't matter. Vegetables, whatever it is, it makes things better. So
yeah. Do you have a favorite flavor or type of hummus? Anything you like adding to it?
Yeah, I like everything spicy. So I do like spicy hummus. I also love when it's smoky. I'm a smoky and spicy kind of girl. So anytime if I'm in a store and I'm purchasing hummus, that I forget what the brand it is, but there's one brand that has a really spicy one, and you could see all the chili bits on top. And everybody has a different style of eating it. Some people just dip and avoid the chili, but I'm like getting in there with the chili. The chili's got to be a good piece of each bite.
Do you ever make hummus at home?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, it's so easy to make.
It is, yeah.
And you can make it with lots of beans. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be just chickpeas. It could be, other beans as well. But just good old traditional hummus, when you make it at home, actually tastes better than any other time you have it.
Yeah.
It's fresh and warm after it comes out of the blender and it's all warmed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very hungry right now.
It is about dinner time, isn't it? We're getting close. I will admit I have failed at hummus many times. There was one time I made it and it was I thought it tasted okay, but it was like really fluffy, the texture. And so I took a spoon of it and I was in the kitchen. My husband wasn't paying any attention to what I was doing. So I just take a spoon of it and I hand it to him thinking he knows I'm making hummus, and he sees the texture. He thinks he's about to get some kind of icing. And so he bites into it and he was like, what the fuck is that? When I told him it was hummus, he was like, oh, okay. It's actually really good. But because it was so fluffy, he was like waiting for sweet. And when it was not that, it was like, whoa. So there's been some trial and error here, but I've gotten better, doing a podcast called Did You Bring the Hummus? I feel like I have to know how to make hummus. And so, the practice continues. Do you have any tips for good hummus or making good hummus?
Well, if you have the patience to take the little skins off of the garbanzo beans, that's helpful. But that takes time.
It does. I feel like I'd have to use that as a meditation. I'm going to meditate over the chickpeas, take all the skins off.
Sometimes it helps when you put an ice cube in the blender when you're doing it. It helps it to like whip it up in a really nice texture. But hummus, I feel like really shouldn't be that fancy. It should just be a simple food to make.
Yeah.
It's a staple.
Agreed. Yeah. So Jean, how about you? How does hummus show up in your life?
Well, as somebody who's not really much of a cook, hummus is kind of one of those things like peanut butter, hummus. It's, there aren't that many other things that are as easy to have around, last as long, taste as good. And as you brought up before, you can buy hummus in different varieties. So I might go through a red pepper hummus period, or an onion and garlic hummus period, or there's another one that I really love. And of course, I can't think of it. I have a tendency to go through like a month of one particular flavor, then move on.
Yeah.
But it's just, hummus is just one of those great things. And you can also give hummus sandwiches to other people and they don't object. They don't even know that it's vegan.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I know there's a new one out on the market right now that I had. We went to the beach and I had to grab some food at the market and it was like cilantro and jalapeno.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Hello. Speaking my language.
Yes. That did not last long.
Just like spoon right in there.
Oh, it disappeared fast.
Tara and Jean, thank you so much for being here with me. I have loved this conversation. I cannot wait for my listeners to hear it and for them to pick up your book, Vegana Italiana. Thank you both so much.
Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it. And I do hope to see you in New York.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Kimberly, you have to go to New York and you have to meet Tara and you'll see everything I've said is true.
I can't wait. Welcome back. You are not going to believe this, but the tiramisu was not the first recipe I made from Vegana Italiana. I actually made the Alfredo bake, which means I made, for the very first time, vegan mozzarella, vegan ricotta with tofu and cashews, so much better than the non-chef version I came up with years ago, and Alfredo sauce. My in-laws, JP's brother and his wife, were coming over for dinner, so I decided to make it for them. It was a big hit. I'm also planning on including the frittata in my Thanksgiving menu. As Tara and Jean both point out, this food is just good Italian food. You don't have to be vegan or want to be vegan to enjoy it. Check out my Instagram account for photos of the dish. To connect with Tara, visit her website, puravitalosangeles.com. Follow her on Instagram at puravita_LA or at Chef Tara Punzone. You can also follow the restaurant on Facebook at Pura Vita Los Angeles. To connect with Jean, visit his website, jeanstone.com. I hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. Please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're loving it, please give Did You Bring the Hummus a 5-star rating and leave a review. It's an easy way to keep supporting the show. Be sure to share these episodes with your friends. If you're finding something good here, they will too. If you're a vegan or know a vegan who would be a great fit for the podcast, follow the Be a Guest link in the show notes. Fill out the quiz and I'll be in touch. Get on my mailing list and stay up to date on all things Did You Bring the Hummus? Get more info on how you can sign up for a meditation, one of my programs, or to support the podcast via the links in the show notes. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Did You Bring the Hummus, and visit my website, didyouBringthehummus.com, for more information about me, updates on what I'm working on, new podcast episodes, and all things vegan. Finally, I would love to hear from you. What do you need help with? Is there a topic you want to hear covered on a future episode? DM me on Instagram or send me an email at info@didyoubringthehummus.com. Thanks for listening.